Hello there, and welcome to Why Didn't I Know That? So, today we are looking at how to control time. I know it sounds like a crazy concept. Can you control time? But yes, you can. And in this video, I'm going to go through exactly how to do that. So, have you ever heard the expression, time flies when you're having fun? It seems like whenever we're doing things that are fun, the time goes by so quickly. And whenever we're having a bad time, it's the opposite. Things just drag on, and things that are just a short amount of time on the clock just seem very, very long. So, why is that? Is it just in our imaginations that sometimes time seems to go fast and sometimes it goes slowly? Well, not exactly. In this video, we're going to go through exactly how we can control time as it appears to us, and how we can speed up those times that we don't enjoy, and we can slow down and enjoy those times that we really do. So, first of all, time is subjective. This is a scientific fact. If you know about Einstein's space-time continuum theory, the basic concept is that large objects like a star or a very large planet can affect the space-time continuum. So that means that around where a large planet or a large body is, the whole of space-time can be warped. The easy way to imagine it is like if you put a soccer ball on a bed, on the duvet, and that duvet will sink down just where you have the ball placed. Basically, that's how the warping of space-time occurs. When we have a very large object, the gravitational pull of that object can affect space-time. So, from this, it's clear that space-time can be different at different places and at different times. Now, we're not going to go too far into the science of the space-time continuum. Basically, what we need to take from this is that time is not one linear process. We shouldn't see time as fixed. Time can be different at different places. Now, often we think of this different perception that we have of time as being in our own imaginations. But is it really? It's hard to say for sure. But our own perception is everything. So let's take a look at it. How can we influence time? How can we affect time? How can we perceive time in a different way? So let's think about children and elderly people. So if we think about young children, or if we even remember our own childhood, when we were very young, even 1 hour seemed like an age. If you can remember back to those early days at school, a 1 hour lesson that you didn't enjoy, it seemed to drag on and on and on forever. But if we talk to elderly people, they will tell us that the years just fly by in no time. Now, you could say that this is because that amount of time is relative to the length of their lifetime, but there's more to it than this, because these hours will speed up sometimes and then they'll slow down sometimes. So why is that? The key to this, and this is the real thing I want you to take from this video, is awareness. What is our awareness of how time is passing by? What are we seeing and what are we noticing? So for young children, everything is new, everything is fresh. The whole world to them is a new place, a new experience. Everything they see around them, they notice something new. They find out something fascinating and interesting. Now, this is the key to the passage of time: awareness. For a young child, everything is observed. Every moment is observed, everything that's occurring around them. But when we talk about elderly people, this is the opposite. Have you ever moved to a new city and suddenly you find everything around you is new? Every street, every tree, every park, everything, every activity that's going on is all new to you. When you arrive in a new place, that place seems fascinating. And at that time, our lives feel very packed and full. That's because we are observing everything around us, because everything to us at that time is new. But after a few months, we stop seeing those things. They stop being new to us, so we stop observing them. And then the things around us become ordinary. They become familiar, and they become ignored. So what do we need to do? How can we overcome that? Think about the elderly person that we mentioned before. That elderly person is not seeing anything new for them. Most things that they see, they've seen at some point in their life before. They know it's not a threat. They know it's not anything that's unusual or different for them. So they don't see it. Basically, they're sleepwalking through the last stages of their lives. So what do we need to do? We need to avoid this sleepwalking. We need to be aware. Awareness of all that's around us. We need to pay attention when we walk up the street, what's happening around us. We need to see every tree. We need to see every leaf on every tree. We need to see every animal, every bird that's flying around us. We need to see what the people around us are doing. Our normal habit for normal people is to just consider when we see a threat or when we see something that's different or unusual, and to block out everything else. This makes time pass very quickly for us because we're sleepwalking along. Now this concept of observation is something that we'll look into in a future video in more depth. But what we need to take from that right now is this concept of sleepwalking. When everything is familiar to us, we block it out and we ignore it. And by that way, our time flies by. Another factor we need to think about when we're talking about the passage of time subjectively for us is positivity and negativity. As I mentioned right at the start of this video, time flies when we're having fun. So why is that? And why does time drag when we're having such a bad time? Basically, this is our attitude. This is the way we are approaching the things that we're doing and the things that we're seeing. When we see something negative and we feel negatively towards it, we are slowing down time. We are seeing a threat. We are seeing something that we don't like. So time is slowing down for us while we observe and deal with that. So how can we change that? We can change that by adopting a positive attitude. This can be counterintuitive. Naturally, if there's something we don't like, we feel negatively towards it and we have a negative mental attitude towards it. But we can overcome that. What we need to do is adopt a positive attitude to negative things. And in this way, we can make those less pleasant times pass by much more easily and much more quickly than they would do otherwise. I know this sounds at the moment like a very difficult thing to do, but it's actually easier than you think. All you need to do is just decide to be positive about what you're doing. Even when you feel like it sucks and that you can't get through it, You need to be positive and time will flow by faster for you. Now, one way I do this myself, it may not be the best way to do it for you. You need to find your own way to be positive about things, because after all, it's your own mind and your own way of thinking. But for me, the best way to do it is to imagine myself at the end of my days. When I'm coming to the end of my life, I imagine myself in that hospital room and then death's approaching. What would I do to get those hours back then? What would I do to have that time that I wished away back again at that time? So if I keep that in my mind, it helps me to be positive. It helps me to cherish even those moments that we normally view in a negative way. So there we have it. There's the two ways we can control the passage of time for us. We can speed up time and we can slow it down subjectively for ourselves. So what do we need to do? We need to maintain a positive attitude during negative times, and we need to observe everything around us during our daily lives. We need to not be lost in our own heads or lost in our phones or lost in whatever we're listening to on our earphones. We need to be present. At all times we need to be present and we need to see what's around us, because wherever you are, there's always something interesting happening around us. We just need to be aware of it. We're all time travelers. If you want your life to last longer and you want those precious moments to last, you have to be aware. You have to be aware of everything and everyone around us. We have to observe each moment. We have to appreciate each moment. We have to love each moment, even the negative ones, even those bad times. There's positivity that we can find in that. So to get through those dragging, boring times, force yourself into that positive mindset. And you'll find that the more you do it, the easier it will become over time. So thank you for listening. So why didn't I know that? Make sure you leave a like and a subscription. It'll be greatly appreciated. I'm Tris and I'll be back next time with some more interesting stuff for you. Stay tuned.